We're all back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Fat Back 4. It's not daily, it's not at night, well, it is at night, but it's nearly not as much night as it was the other night. It's Gav, it's Grizz, it's Matt. We're back. Throw the abuse at us. You can call us wherever you want. We're big boys, we can take it. What are we going to do tonight? We're going to do loads. We're going to talk about the Bradford game. I think we're going to talk about transfers in and out, the tour to America, and anything else you throw up there. I have the comments up on screen. The boys are watching on their phones. If they see anything interesting that you say, they'll obviously bring it in and keep going from there. Lads, first things first, Grizz, how have you been? How has been your summer? I know you're delighted England won the Cricket World Cup, but how have you been?
I'm good, man. Working on my tan, as you can see. Worked up a lovely tan in the last couple of months. Nearly as brown as Matt. England won the World Cup, amazing. The other fellow won the tennis, amazing. Mane through to the final of the African Nations, amazing.
When is that final?
Amazing. Hey?
Friday.
When is it?
Friday.
Next Sunday, innit? Friday.
A week? Fuck.
Yeah.
That means he's back late.
Yeah, so Mane misses the first game, but we can discuss that later. The season, but yeah, it's been an amazing day of sport, and I've had a fantastic summer. Just off my keto diet.
Yeah, okay, go on, keep going.
Why are you laughing? Alright, just for a little while. I'm back on it. Getting pre-season training and getting ready for the new season. Right. How about you?
Oh, it's been great. I played a hell of a lot of golf. I found I'm having a second child in January.
Amazing. Congratulations from everyone on the LFC Twitter sphere.
Great stuff. Thanks a million. What else did I do? I went to Italy for a couple of weeks. Really enjoyed that. Didn't watch any football over the summer. Copa America, African Nations Cup, the Women's World Cup. I done none of that. I just had a really good time. That was about it. Matt, how are you? How was your summer? How did you get on?
Been pretty boring, really. I've just been in the house, haven't done much.
Yeah.
Watching lots of football, bit of golf. Only joking, I got married, as you know. Got married when on my honeymoon, Bahamas, Jamaica, Cuba, blah, blah, blah. But now it's back. The football's back. And I'm all good. I'm ready for it.
Good. Okay. Well, that's how our summers went. How did everybody else's summers go? You can let us know. Grizz will read it and pretend that he knew that all along.
Oh, by the way, quickly, I found the Liverpool supporters club in Cuba. I watched the final with the Cuban Reds.
Right.
Absolute mad bunch of bastards. Honestly, I couldn't believe it.
Right up your street, ready?
What's that?
Were you right up your street, like?
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, I've never met a crazy bunch of lads who haven't a clue what's going on in the football world, who just fucking absolutely love Liverpool Football Club.
Yes, you have the trippers.
The trippers.
Yeah.
And ever since I gave them my WhatsApp number, I get messages daily asking if different people are coming. So I need to keep bothering Grizz with his ICK information. Giving it load down.
I'd say you just have done. And a little tick mark, and it's just copy and paste all the time, no matter who it is. Yeah, it's done, mate. It's done. Don't worry about it. But look, let's get anybody watching this on YouTube, anybody watching on Periscope, share the broadcast, subscribe on YouTube, do all that. It's the same channel that I put out all the daily stuff on. That will continue tomorrow and all along during the week and stuff like that. This show has no sponsor because nobody will touch us with a barge pole because we're mental. And we say stuff we probably shouldn't. But if anyone does want to sponsor this show, come along and we promise to tone it down at least 6 to 7%.
Email me.
Email grizz@keto.ie. But
keto.spoofer@ie.com.
Okay, here we go. The football, lads. We went away to Bradford today. It was a game that was for Stephen Darby. He's an awful disease that he's contacted and stuff like that, and it was for him today, and it was great to see Liverpool going to the club of a former player to support him in what he's fighting against, and we wish him all the best in fighting this. We really, really do. That's from me, Matt, Grizz, and anyone involved in the LLC Day Trippers. But a 3-1 win, lads. Another good run out. Grizz, did anybody stand out for you?
It was a game of two halves.
Usually is.
It was a game of two teams, as per. First half was good. Again, I think fair to say the more senior team. The first 45 minutes, Brewster's standing out. To be honest with you, Ox looks lively, and Hoover, the Ajax captain, looks good at right back as well. Apart from that, James Milner's carrying on being James Milner, an amazing professional. Lallana playing in a deeper role. I found that interesting. Klopp alluded to it afterwards, saying that he just wants Lallana to get into rhythm and as many touches of the ball as possible. So, looks like Lallana's not going anywhere. But yeah, the second half was a bit of a damp squib, to be honest with you. I was sort of swapping with the cricket and the tennis at the same time. So I didn't catch much of it, but it was quite boring the second half. No one really stood out. Slightly disappointed with. I was discussing with Matt off air, who is very defensive, very protective of the sort of fringe players. I thought the fringe players need to show more in these kind of games if they want to stay. The likes of Kent, Wilson, etc., but none really stood out, to be honest with you. But yeah, another basic good workout, and I suppose gives Klopp some kind of idea what kind of squad he's going to take to a USA. Is it this week, Matt? They fly out Wednesday or something? I think Tuesday. So yeah, it probably made Klopp's decisions for him after today's performances. I think he was going to get onto that flight.
Okay, just touching on a couple of things there, lads. Barry Carr, that's watched the programme all week, he said that he reckons Brewster can get 23 goals. I want to touch on a couple of players because it is one of those games where it's, one team in one half, one team in the other half, so it's very hard to get a rhythm, but players do kind of stand out. Matt, for you, Brewster, it's your first word on him, it's your first opinion I've heard on him. What do you make of this fella? He's 3 goals in 2 games, although against lower division footballers and lower division teams. But what do you think this guy can do, honestly, Matt, if he's given the chance over this season, which it looks like he will be?
Yeah, listen, if you're going to judge him, you can't judge him on these 2 last pre-seasons because, as I was saying to Grizz earlier, it's pre-season. You look at players like Klein, Chamber and Lallana, they're not doing anything, so why should some youngsters step up and do something magical? But if you look at what Brewster done last season, then yeah, he's absolutely ready. You hear about what Klopp's saying, you hear about what the coaching team are saying, and he's kind of one of the reasons that we're not 100% desperate to sign someone up there, if you know what I mean. We've got Origi, okay, and now we've got him who's promoted to the first team. He's going to be training with the first team, and he's going to get games. I don't know if it's just the League Cup or he's actually going to get games in Premiership, bring him on 70 minutes, 60 minutes, but he's now actively going to be in the first team. And to be in one of Jurgen Klopp's first teams, you have to be some type of player. So for me, he's absolutely ready for it. The goals he scored in the last 2 games mean nothing. It's what went before that means everything for Rhian Brewster.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he's gone through a bad injury. You've seen him recovering with Oxlade-Chamberlain for the majority last season. He was massively rated while he was in the 17s and 19s and 23s, and he was away at World Cups, I think, with England. Just to see a guy, I was worried that he might come back and look a bit rusty, but Grizz, it's huge for him to see him just absolutely hit the ground running, albeit in these friendlies, but he's hit the ground running.
Absolutely, you made a very good point there, Gav, about with him being out so long, we didn't know what kind of condition he's going to come back into. But it's again, I don't want to slag off the other youngsters, to what Matt said, but again, it shows his hunger and desire that his work rate. I mean, everyone had heard about his finishing prowess in the World Cup. Was it under 21 World Cup or whatever, under 19 World Cup, whatever it was? Yeah, everyone had heard about his finishing prowess and sort of how good he is around the box and what kind of poacher and finisher he is. He's shown already, right? But what stood out for me is his hunger and desire and his passion to press. Sort of, he's obviously been studying and he's been told, look, this is what Bobby does. And that's the least you've got to do. The least you've got to do is fucking run around like a madman, like Bobby does. And he has been, Gav. You can see he's been one of the fittest players on show, which is a tribute to him. And, there was a lot of trolls taking a piss out of him, sort of wearing his medal and saying what's he achieved and why is he going around wearing his medal, etc., etc. But I like that. He's got confidence and he's got swagger. And the guy he's taking the place of in the squad, I feel, is Daniel Sturridge, who was another player who had that kind of swagger and arrogance about him. And I think this guy, we don't know if he's the real deal, but he's got everything points towards him being the real deal this summer, this season. I'm really looking forward to seeing him the most. And a quick word on King Origi. It's funny. I know we're playing sort of bunch of nobodies, etc., etc. But even he was looking sort of suddenly swagger about him. He looked like kind of broader and taller and bigger, and there was a maturity in his play. Like I'm at Liverpool now, and kind of like knows that his place. So that was good to see as well.
Somebody's asked there, was Grizz on time? Because they know Grizz and they know he's not usually on time. He was on time. He was on time, and me and Matt are extremely proud of him for that. We really are. It's probably the proudest we've ever been at Grizz.
New me.
Yeah, it's a new you. It's a new season. It's a new Grizz. Matt, Grizz touches on Daniel Sturridge there, and I know you're a massive fan of Daniel Sturridge. You always have been, and you probably still are. And it looks like he's taken the spot of Daniel Sturridge in the squad. That looks like it's going to be. Do you think he's a better alternative? His style of play is a better alternative than Sturridge when you look to rest Firmino, or he's a bit off form, or he's injured? Do you think he looks a bit of a better alternative just in style of play?
No.
Okay.
Nah, he could be. Nah, he could be. I don't know if he'll ever get to the goal scoring that Sturridge had, because Sturridge is, you take everyone away from his game, Sturridge is a world class finisher. Whether he gets there, I don't know. But as Grizz says, he works a lot harder. Which, if he works harder, then Klopp's more likely to like him and work on the other side of his game, and that's where he's going to improve. He's got probably one of the best front threes in the world to learn off. If he gets his head down in training and he looks at what they do, Mane, Firmino especially, and then Salah obviously for his runs, then he could become world class. At the moment, he's a very, very good player, and it's good that he stepped up to the first team, because he's now in an environment just full of talent and great coaching. Probably one of the best environments in Europe for a young player to be in, for him to learn his trade. So yeah, he could be. Right now, no.
Okay. For me, I watched a bit of Brewster at the underage games. No, I'm not saying I sat down to watch them. They could be on as a replay and different things like that. And usually the goals you see, and short highlight packages that the Liverpool channel would have on, and you'd have like highlight packages of the 23s or whatever it was, wherever he was playing. And I always thought, looked a great finisher, and looked like he liked to play on the shoulder, because he had got that blistering pace. One thing that surprised me in the pre-season so far, though, is his willingness to get the ball into feet, his quick feet when he gets it. He's intelligent with it. You see from the assist he gets for Klein against Tranmere. He's a lot more of an intelligent footballer than I gave him credit for. And I think that if they can tune in on that and let his other game develop naturally, because I think will have the pace and he has got the instinct to score goals, but that back to goal play and bringing other players in, if they can concentrate on that, I think it's massive. Grizz, I know you're wanting to get in, walk away.
Just a quick thing on that, what you said about his whole his general play. I noticed that as well. Matt said that he's been sort of training and in the environment of sort of brilliant coaching, and those players that he's mentioned are front three. But everyone had this image, or a lot of people have seen him and said he's a penalty box player, but you can see he's been working on his game in terms of dropping deep, and his touch, and he's not as small as I thought as well. He's bigger than sort of the likes. He's taller than the likes of Ox and Milner and Klein. You know, he's okay. I think he's 5'11", something like that. I'm not sure, but I thought he's slight. He's quite strong.
This will send you west. Do you know Suarez is 6 foot?
Yeah.
That's a mad one, isn't he?
Yeah. It's just because he runs with his head down and he's looking at an animal.
Yeah, because he's a little fucking rat.
Like a burrow, innit? Like a rat, yes.
Yeah. I only heard that this week. I couldn't believe it.
But do you know the likes of how Sancho and Hudson-Odoi from that same team have sort of progressed? I really feel, you know, he's been so unlucky with that injury with a year out. But I think Brewster would have been on their level if he had that season of, you know, without getting injured. But, you know, good luck to the kid. I think he can catch them and even surpass them, in my opinion. I think he's that good.
Yeah, somebody's made the point there that he'll get more and more chances, and we'll see how good he is when he goes to the States, playing probably with better players, against better players. I think it'll be a big insight into Rhian Brewster and the player he is when we go off to the States and play.
Mix confirmed there that he is actually 5'11". I was right again.
Oh, is that Suarez, Mick, or would that be or is that Brewster?
No, Brewster.
Okay, I have a feeling he's talking about Suarez, but we'll see.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, I'm right.
So you're not right again.
No, he's 6 foot, Mick. Unlucky.
All right, just an inch out you were, Mick. There's an inch in it. I had another saying for that, but I won't do it tonight. Right, a couple of other players I want to ask you about the comments have been coming in. Ryan Kent. The rumour is that Rangers want him but don't have the money that Liverpool are looking for up front. Leeds have looked at him but haven't offered enough money to Liverpool, and now the talk is that Liverpool are going to hold on to him and bring him to America. I don't think that really means much that he goes to America. He can just put on a flight back if that is confirmed. But Grizz, how do you feel about Ryan Kent? I was quite open the other night after Tranmere that I felt he was playing a game on his own, and if he'd have serviced the young left back that was playing a bit more, he would have looked actually more impressive by being a little bit more selfless in what he was doing. Ryan Kent, for you, what do you think?
He's done okay. He hasn't, he's been outstanding, but maybe I'm being too harsh. You know, his pre-season, whatever. I just don't see him at Liverpool. I don't know why. I've said this before. I think we've really gone up levels. If you asked me the same question maybe about 2-3 seasons ago, I would have said, yeah, Kent, brilliant squad player, young, English, you know, good on the ball, technically good, technically gifted. Let's give him a chance. Without sounding arrogant, you know, and we have gone up levels in terms of what we're looking for and what the level and what the kind of titles we're playing for. I mean, we were, you know, if we were trying to get into that top 4, etc., then yeah, Kent would be, you know, a useful member of the squad. I just don't think we'll keep hold of him. I think it is just, I just think it's gains from Klopp and Co. We get a decent offer of around 9-10 million, and he's a goner in my opinion. I just, you know, I think it's unfortunate for him, for the lad. You know, he's had a brilliant season at Rangers by all accounts, but I just don't see him in a Liverpool shirt sort of on a full-time basis.
Okay, I agree with you. I think if we get a deal around between 8 and 10 million, I think we take it. Matt, for you, Ryan Kent, is he the sort of player that could go to America and really, really impress and make Klopp rethink probably what he's going to do with him, or do you think it's going to be a case of take the 10 million and walk away?
Yeah, not a fucking chance he plays for this club. He's going to end up someone like Bournemouth, something like that. In my opinion, what we're seeing now isn't from Klopp, it's from Mickey Edwards trying to get a bit more money for him. That is it. We're saying we want him, we're saying we're happy to keep him. If we get money, he's going. He's not good enough for Liverpool. Nice player. He's okay. Top 12 maximum. Yeah.
Okay. Couple of other players. The left back we were talking about on the Fat Back 4 Daily a couple of times, specifically after Tranmere. But the left back situation. Matt, for you, you know, Larouci, I think is the young lad's name, and Adam Lewis are the two fullbacks that have kind of played over these 2 games. Do you see Klopp putting his trust in one of those, or do you think no, he'd probably go out and make a signing? He can't have someone that young with that no experience, no first experience coming into the squad as, you know, back up to left Robertson. Do you see either of them being trusted, or do you think they go and do something?
Well, I don't really like taking much out of these early pre-season games against the lower clubs. You have to wait until the last 2-3 maximum to see what people like the players are made of. But the one thing you can take out of it is probably Larouci, and he's a good player. Whether Klopp can trust him for a season, that's a fucking risk. The only good thing to help with that is you've got Milner there. So what could happen is we don't need a left back for Robson back up because we've got Milner. But during the first few months of the season, if Larouci comes in and he's training well and he has a few little chances, then maybe he can fill them shoes without Milner having to. But if that doesn't happen, we've still got Milner there at least till January. So it's a risk, but it's not a massive risk because we have got a tried and trusted member of the squad to play there.
Yeah, it's not a bad show. It's the only thing, like, don't get me wrong, I think Larouci has been impressive. Adam Lewis holds his width really, really well on the left when he's played, and it's a bit like Robertson. It looks like he's been watching Robertson. But for me, he might go down the Milner route. I don't know if Milner wants to go back and do that. People have said there Firpo is this bet is left back. We are going to go on to transfer names later on, and we'll lash through them and see what we all think. Grizz, I want to touch on Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson had a brilliant season last year at Derby. He might have been the player of the year. He definitely won about 8 out of the 10 goal of the month for them. For you, Harry Wilson, same question, I suppose. Do you see him going to America and tearing it up and making things, Klopp change his mind on what he might do, or do you feel he's at the peak of his value and Liverpool might cash in?
Yeah, I think it's similar to Kent. I could give the same answer, same opinion, and just change the name of the player to Wilson. From Kent, another good player, had a fantastic season. I'm sure he learned a lot under Lampard. Many would say that's his level, maybe mid-table, Premier League team. He could play at. We're just operating at a different level now. I mean, it really is the difference in our quality and sort of the standards we're looking at and looking to go and looking to push on. With no disrespect to the likes of Woodbourne, Kent, Wilson, who 2-3 seasons ago were sort of highly rated, and many would have pinned their hopes on these guys coming through and sort of saving us sort of millions in the bank. I just don't see Harry Wilson's overall game.
Can I ask you something, Grizz? Chris comments there and says Wilson needs a Premier League loan. Would that be an alternative? Give him a year at a Premier League club and let's see how he does and make a judgment on him that way?
Yeah, I think Wilson, in my opinion, Wilson's ahead of Kent in terms of I don't think we'd sell him as easily and readily as we would Kent. I still think maybe Wilson's got another loan and a Premier League loan, because I can't really see anyone paying the kind of money we want for him, which is around 20 million mark, 25 million. So maybe another Premier League loan and then see how it goes from there. But, time is running out. I mean, how old is Wilson now?
22.
So he's at that age, isn't it, where kind of time could be running out for him. But Premier League loan is not a bad shout, unless someone comes in with a bid of 20-25 million. That's probably the best thing for him at the moment.
Matt, for you, Wilson, keep, go, loan.
Loan him to make a bit more money off him, but he's not getting near this team. As I don't like agreeing with him, but as Grizz said, we've stepped up a level now.
Yes, you do.
We've stepped up a level now, and he's just he's a good player. He's not bad. I'd say he's definitely above Kent. We all know that, I think, and we'll get good money for him, but he's not going to make it in this team. Keep him for League Cup, early doors, FA Cup, rest a few legs. That's about it. The only reason we'll keep him is train him up, pretend we like him, sell him on for more money. That's it. Okay.
He's being very, I was going to say harsh, but very decisive on some of these young players, and that's fair enough. Just looking forward to this American tour now, Grizz. I think it's 3 games we play over there. It could be 4. I don't know. I haven't looked them up, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. What do you want to see from this, Grizz? Do you want to see us get our main players back as quick as we can and get them into a rhythm, or would you like to see them get as much rest as they can, or a bit of both? What are you looking for? Because I know I'm looking to try get the more established players into this team, probably from when we start in America, because it gives you a better idea of how the youngsters are when they're in a better side. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, it is a tricky one and balance. We've got to find a balance in terms of integrating the big boys back into the squad, getting some rhythm without overexerting them. Do you know what I mean? God forbid, the last thing we want is sort of any injuries that'll sort of hamper their chances of starting the season. So, and notoriously, when you're coming back from a summer holiday and after winning the Champions League and sort of relaxing and chilling and sort of the way Klopp wants you to get back into it intensity-wise, you could possibly see some players picking up knocks. So I think a slow integration of the players. I think a mixture. Sort of, I think the lads likes of what was his name, the striker Duncan, and I think do
you think he'll go to America?
No, I don't think he will personally, but you never know. I mean,
I think he will.
You think he will?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, he could. I mean, who would he left? I mean, how many is he allowed to take? I mean, how many he wants?
He take as many as you want. It's your fucking team. All they're doing is training over there. It's not like Premier League when you have to take 25.
Well, in that case, then it'll be harsh to leave the likes of Duncan out, because it should be a good mixture of, as you said, put these kids in with the some more established players and see what they're really made up of, and see if they can step up to the plate. So I just think that the USA tour would be just a continuation of pre-season training as always is, and see if anyone really stands out. Okay,
Matt, for you, we've seen most of the players come back now. We're waiting on Mane. Obviously, we're waiting on Salah, Firmino, Alisson. I think everybody else is kind of back. What are you looking for? Are you looking for the youngsters to get just mixed in with some of the established lads, or would you like to see us set our stall out early, get a good rhythm going into this game against Norwich in what, 4 weeks' time now?
Pre-season friendlies mean nothing. It doesn't matter whether it's against Tranmere or Real Madrid in America, whoever we're playing. They don't mean anything. This tour is all about fitness and getting the bond together. As long as the players are with each other day in, day out on the training field, that's all that matters. Who plays, it doesn't matter. We saw the same last season and the season before. It's all about fitness. Maybe the last 1-2 games maximum, you'll start seeing tactics come into play. Maybe you start seeing a few of the starters, or a few of the lineups of people who start. But not one pre-season friendly last year did the same team that start the first game. So it doesn't mean anything. No. Klopp's all about fitness. Getting these young lads over there as well, which is amazing, because people like Milner and Hendo will teach them so much about the team and how the training goes and what to expect and everything. So that's good. And yeah, it's all about fitness now. As Grizz was saying, building them back up to match fitness. If someone's feeling a little thing, he won't be in the game, and that's absolutely fine, because the game's on anything about what's going to happen in the 4 weeks prior.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Mikey says that both Duncan and Glatzel were told they were going to America. I could see them going. I really could, especially with some of the front lads being laid back.
I've already confirmed it, Gav.
Yeah, well, Glatzel has got an injury, and it looks like he might be out for a little while. There was talk of somebody else being drafted in. The name's gone out of my head.
Liam
Miller. Yes, that's who it was.
But Miller actually looked all right.
Chris says, will Salah, Firmino and Alisson make US tour? I presumed he would. The back end of it probably. It was similar last season. Wasn't it similar last season with Salah?
Yeah.
He was kind of late to the tour, but I could see Firmino and Alisson have been off for a week already. So if you add another week and a half onto that, I think they might see the back end of this tour. That's I reckon that's the way it might go, Chris. Lads, I can't get away from this question, so I'm going to have to ask it, right? It's about Philippe Coutinho. Loads of messages come in here with regards to him. What's your take on this, Matt? there's reports that they still owe us 80 million euros from the deal, or somewhere around that number from the deal we done with them 18 months ago. I think that number might be a little bit high, but let's call it 80 for argument's sake. There's talk now that his agent is very upset at leaks coming out of Barcelona, more or less telling them they don't want them. Then you have his team or agent basically telling you that it holds a deep place in his heart, Liverpool and stuff like that. One, Matt, would you take him back? And two, do you think there's anything in this?
Right, first of all, I wouldn't take him back because he proper cunted us, and I don't like that. So I won't take him back. Put that aside, and for football ability, I actually don't think, and I didn't when he was at us, he fits our team very well. I always thought when he was playing for us, and I said it a lot of times on the pod, even when he was at us and he wasn't trying to leave, I always felt like he was shoehorned in. Mane was a better fit on that left side than he ever was. He can't play the central midfield role because he doesn't track back. He hasn't got the engine, which Klopp told Barcelona, and they tried to do it anyway. And I think Mane is a better left winger for him. So what have you got to look at? You've got to look at a player who is going to rotate within the team that we've got. Maybe a Shaq replacement where when we're looking for something, we go to Coutinho instead of Shaq, which, perfect. He's an upgrade on that side of things. But it's not 80 million, it's about 64 million. Even though Grizz bluffed it a few weeks ago and said 20, it's about 64. You did say 20. 22, you said, you know, spoofer. It's about 64. So, do you have a Shaq replacement for 64 million? No, you don't. If we're playing that, then we need someone who's going to be starting. And he doesn't start for me. He doesn't start in anywhere in our team. He's not better than Salah. He's not better than Bobby. He's not better than Mane. He's not on midfield. He can't play midfield. He hasn't got the fucking engine. He can come on at half time, and that's about it. So, putting aside that he's an absolute fucking cunt, I don't take him anyway. At that price, I would take him for 25 million. Okay,
but like, so for 25 million, you'd have to get Barcelona to give us 40, and Philippe Coutinho to take him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you clarified
and
that.
I wouldn't pay that Kia fucking knobhead a single fucking penny. Right. That's part of the deal.
Okay. For me, before I get on to Grizz, because I know Grizz has strong opinions on it as well. For me, I take him back tomorrow. You can never have enough good footballers.
For 68 million.
Well, I tell you what, if they owe us 60 million, 65 million, right? And they turn around and say, we want Coutinho, would you like Coutinho? If we turn around and went, well, you owe us 65 million, so we call it quits and we take him back. Yeah, no problem. Liverpool have made 80 million off the deal, and they have him back after 18 months. I'll tell you where he fits, Matt. He fits with the fact that he's a really, really good footballer. He fits with the fact that hold on. He fits with the fact that we spoke up last season at certain times, even in games we won, where it didn't look like it was happening for us. We kind of got away with things from here and there, and we did. Look, we had a brilliant season, but there was games where we got away with it. West Ham and Leicester, we didn't get away with it, and we were missing something. He works in a 4-2-3-1 for me.
Are you saying we lost the league at West Ham?
No, absolutely not. We didn't lose the league. We've done everything we possibly could. Man City won it. We didn't lose the league. But
well said.
What I'm saying is, I think he fits in a 4-2-3-1. And alternatively to that, he could fit in a 4-3-3 if you played him off the left. Again, listen. The way I look at it is, if you offered me Coutinho back and we didn't have to shell out any money, I would take him tomorrow for the simple reason is we could turn around and say Mane needs a break, or whoever needs a break. Don't just buy players because they're decent cover. Always look to improve and always look to put pressure on the starting 11. And Coutinho without doubt do that. Although what I would say is, do I think it will happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think it will happen. I would do it, but I don't think it will happen.
Get that out. Because everyone needs to get that out their fucking mind because it's not happening. But Gav, you've told us where he fits, but would he start?
Well, that's not up to me. And the thing is, Klopp is a big...
No. In your team, would he start?
Possibly not, no. But,
well, do you pay 64 million for a player who doesn't start?
But you're not paying 64 million. You're getting
You
it for
are,
free.
because that's our money. You think of it like a profit and loss account or whatever, however you do it. An invoice. We're waiting for that money. That's our money.
Yeah.
We've accounted for that. In,
I definitely over 64 million.
So it does cost 64 million.
Okay, so
you can't think about it the other way. Do you take someone who's not going to start for 64 million?
Well, you see, the thing is, it's not about starting. You see, this is the problem with everybody and looking at a starting 11. Or you don't do that. You look at the quality and overall quality of your squad, and all you will get from people is Man City's squad is amazing. You never hear about Man City's first 11. All you hear about.
Well, you could get Timo Werner for 40 million.
Okay, would he start?
I would start him. He's very, very close to beating Firmino in starting line.
He's not on the fucking. He hasn't got a chance of fucking hell of starting for Liverpool before Firmino. I tell you,
it's 23 million less.
I'll tell you now. If you were
someone who's going to rotate.
Yeah, but hold on. It's so what. You've got somebody proven there.
I'll tell you why. Because Timo Werner can start anywhere in the front three. Coutinho can only really start either on the left, or if you change that false 9 position to a very attacking 8, and that's about it.
Yeah. No, look. We can egg all day about it. Do I think it'll happen? No. The reason I think won't happen is because I think Klopp was extremely hurt over that transfer. I think it was written all over his face when he spoke about it. B,
he couldn't. It's not happening.
B, like you said, we could be waiting on that money for something else. And C, people have said it sends out the wrong messages. It probably does. From Klopp could ask senior players and they could say no, we're fine with it, but I think it could rock one or two boats that you don't really want to rock, especially the Salah boat and especially the Mane boat.
I think during the back end of the season and this summer, it's one of the biggest tools Klopp has got to show our best players grass isn't always fucking greener. Do you know what I mean? He can turn around. If he takes Coutinho back now, then players can think, I could go try and do it somewhere else, and then if it doesn't work, come back. One of the biggest tools he's got now, he can say to Mane, Salah, doesn't always fucking happen. Yeah. Look at that.
Mick says that we need the Coutinho money for Mbappe next year. Yeah, what a show. Mbappe 2020. Grizz, I'll let you have a talk because you've been amazingly quiet. Your thoughts on Coutinho? Would you do it, and will it happen? They're the two questions. Go wherever you want.
No, I stayed quiet because it's brilliant. You both had totally opposing views, and you both made fairly strong arguments. And I think Matt probably his final sort of opinion statement about in terms of Klopp using it as a weapon or tool, like in terms of this is what happens if you leave me and us, and where we're going. That probably sways it for me. But I kind of agree with where you're coming from. Look, and I've said this before, and I said this to you last year when we were talking about Alisson and etc. in terms of price. Would we want to spend this much money? I want as many brilliant players in this Liverpool squad as possible. So for me personally, I couldn't give a shit how much it costs, Matt. There's 60 million, 50 million, 4 million. I couldn't give a shit. I just want brilliant players in our squad. Where does he fit? Very good question. But I think we're at a stage, and Klopp's shown that he's changed us tactically every season, not only in shape but in terms of not only in sort of in games, but sort of in sort of shape, but in mentality as well. He's got players playing out of position. Everyone believes and trusts him. There has been times where we've played a kind of a 4-4-2. We've reverted to, even in the final against Spurs. There was times where we reverted to a 4-4-2. Now in a 4-4-2, could you play Coutinho? I could certainly see Coutinho play just behind Bobby. I could see him. I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. Yes, you could. You could see Mane and Salah. You could see Bobby and Firmino and two holding midfield players. Let's say Henderson or thing. There is games that he would play. There's no doubt about it. In terms of would he fit back into the squad like a glove? In terms of knowing the players, knowing the setup, knowing the system, point to prove, all that points to yes, Coutinho will be fucking motivated, head down, fucking want to show the fans, win their love back and their trust back. Will it happen? No, we know it won't happen. As I've told you guys and I've tweeted before, he has been offered back to us, but that's because Barca fucking know they fucked up. How much did they? How much was the overall fee? 140 million or something, isn't it?
145, yeah.
We know. They know we fucking skinned them alive with that fucking deal, right?
I'll take Dembele over anyone.
Well, yeah,
for
we're
that
going
one.
to come to that. But the point is, Coutinho for me, just from a layman's point of view, in terms of, wow, what a player, Premiership, how many times has he scored stunners? If you look at a YouTube clip, a reel of Phil Coutinho, you think, fuck me, that's a 50, 60 million player, eyes closed. Knowing the fact that Edwards is looking for an attacking, creative type player, if we take away the Coutinho saga, if we just looked at a Coutinho, would we pay 50 million for him? All fucking day. I think we all agree we'd pay 50 million for him. So from that angle, from that point of view, yes. But in terms of, would it happen? Will it happen? I don't think so. And for the fact that what you said is, Klopp will show it and use it, as an example for everyone else.
Yeah. I'd just like to see what people think with that review. Just a simple yes or no with regards to would you take Coutinho back? No, actually, no. Forget would you take Coutinho back. Do you think it will happen? Yes or no? Us three believe that it won't happen for varying reasons. But look, just go with that and see where we go. A simple yes or no from people, and I'll have a look at it as it goes along. What else was I going to talk to you about? Someone there has says from Coutinho and Firpo would be the two he'd go for. There's also the Pepe talk, just Bruno Fernandes, just different things like that. Grizz, just on incomings, I suppose, before we go to any outgoings, what do you believe Liverpool are looking for this summer, if anything? Do you think they're looking for anything? Do you think it's just a case of wait and see, have they their eye on somebody that they might do something late in the window, or do you think they're quite satisfied with what they have?
I think it's pretty much.
Sorry, Grizz, to cut across you. The reason I'm asking this is everyone's asking here: is there any news? Is there any updates? So you have the floor. Walk away. Go.
No, it's pretty much as sort of the media, the local press have been saying, in terms of we're not looking to do much, and I think the majority of sensible, rational, sane Liverpool fans would agree we don't need to do much. Do we need to do something? Yes. There's not a fan, including the most super fans like Matt, right, would say that no, we don't need to do nothing. If we just take the bare minimum of Moreno being the left back reserve, then you could say there's an opportunity if a deal comes, if a deal makes sense for a replacement left back for that, and then. For Sturridge, maybe I know we've said Brewster, but sort of a multi-purpose forward, I think we're definitely in the market for, and I think we will get one. And it's a patient game. We're in a position where we don't have to spunk money like the likes of Madrid and Barcelona and United, who are paying crazy fees for players that haven't proved anything. 80 million today. We're hearing about Maguire. How much do they pay for? Wan-Bissaka 50 million or something. We're in a position where we don't have to go mad and nuts and pay these crazy fees. We're in a position where let's watch what happens. Let's see what Barcelona do with the likes of Dembele. Let's see if anyone offers Pepe and Lille more than 40, 50 million. Everyone's making noise at the moment, but we're sitting there pretty and saying, look, this is what we're willing to pay for you. We don't need to pay more than that. And if you want to join the European champions, then all well and good. But we ain't getting into any auctions or any bids for players because we're not in a, we don't need to. And I kind of agree with that. But, to answer, if you want to put me on the spot and say, will we get any signings? Yeah, I do believe we'll get a minimum of one player coming in, 100%. And it's it's 90% to be like a attacker.
Okay, if you want to put a name on that attacker, in your opinion.
If I say Dembele, are you going to ask me which one?
No.
All right.
There's only one Dembele we're after, so Ousmane Dembele is what we're speaking of.
I'd say.
No, there's the Fulham one.
Yeah, they're everywhere, man. There's one in Lyon and everything.
I'd say Dembele is priority, for Liverpool. But whether Barcelona are willing to sell him, which is another story. Barcelona, in a tricky situation. It's a waiting game, Gav. There's lots of.
It's fluid.
It's fluid. It is, and I know we take the piss out of that, but it is, isn't it, Matt? No, but we always have a laugh about that. But it is a very fluid situation. Just like
Grizz, stop. It's not a fluid situation. There's fuck all happening. Stuff has to be moving for it to be fluid.
Cancel him.
Let me give you an example.
I'll mark that. I'll cut that out.
Yeah, Alisson was a very fluid situation in his transfer in the end. You know,
it wasn't. We bid. They said yeah. So, we offered him a contract. He said yeah. He came.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. You know, you wish.
No one said he came and then he didn't.
But you know, I think Dembele. I've got a very, very strong feeling Dembele ends up at Liverpool.
Okay, Matt. Somebody made a comment there that he feels that Liverpool won't sign anyone, and Liverpool will look. Klopp will look for solutions within the squad that he has now. Do you agree with that, or do you think no? Listen, these transfers, they're done 8, 10, 12 months in advance, and it's one of those where they're probably hanging on. I had a theory that Pepe might be a backup to Dembele, and now Dembele looks a little bit more gettable. Do you think he works within the squad, Matt, or do you think that he signs one or two? For the record, I think he does too.
Right. First of all, I can confirm we are very, very close to a big signing. I just can't see any more. But secondly, Klopp will do whatever Klopp needs to do. There's no way in the world Klopp thinks his squad is done. The only reason he's saying that is because he doesn't want to go out and say we need players because then the price goes up. Klopp and Mickey Edwards know exactly what they're doing. They know which areas need to improve because every squad in the world, no matter European champions, the best in Europe like us, or Wolves, every squad in the world can improve. And if you can improve, then Klopp will always do it. And he's shown us in the past. But he won't go out desperate trying to run after players and like what Man U were doing this season and get fucking lynched for a price. He'll do what needs to be done and he'll play it calm. And if we can't get the first one, then Mickey Edwards got a list of about 10 players in every single position and every single type of player, and he'll just go down that list 1, 2, 3, 4 until we get someone we like at a good price.
Okay.
If it's someone we're desperate for, we go out and pay what we think is reasonable, like Van Dijk. Last season, you look at other supporters, they don't think that's reasonable for 75 million. Well, they didn't. They fucking do now. And Klopp said, yeah, that he's worth that to my squad. So Klopp will go out and get whatever he thinks he needs and for what money he thinks it's worth.
Chris says
that is mad how people actually believe that, you know, Klopp's happy with his squad. It doesn't infuriates me. It makes me mad. They think that, you know, what Klopp's saying is actually, you know, true and what he thinks behind closed doors as well. That, look, we've got this fantastic, brilliant, amazing squad. Lallana's like a new signing, etc., etc. You know, it's been proven that, you know, he plays these games because he's an up-to-date manager. He knows every trick in the book. We've got an elite manager, you know, and people still think that, you know, oh, he's happy with his squad and get worked up, you know, for no fucking reason. It's, as you said, even if you're European champions or whether you're fucking, you know, struggling like Man United, no squad, you know, is incomplete. There's very, very rarely that you see, only Tottenham, I think, was it, that didn't make no signings in a window, was it something? But that's because we know they were broken because of the new stadium. We're in a fantastic, healthy situation where we can spend 80, 90 million pounds on a player just like that. We're fucking loaded. It's just if Klopp and Edwards want it. Yeah. Simple as that.
Do you know something? Like Matt made a point there that they go down the list and go down the list and go down the list, and I agree with you there, because even when you go back to Salah, I think Salah wasn't their first choice, or it wasn't Klopp's first choice, I don't think, but he was probably a second choice, and whoever they were going for didn't work out.
Fluid. That's an example of fluid.
No. But what I'm going to say is, I think this might be a summer where I think this might be a summer where they're not actually going down the list. I think they won't go down the list. I think they probably have 3 names. Say 3 names, and if them 3 names become available, one of these 3 names, they'll move on them. And I think that's might where it be. I still stick to it that there's going to be 2 players. I think there will be an attacking player, and although I take Matt's point on left back, I think he might do something there. Chris has asked me and Grizz to get the name out of Matt. You don't realise I'm a stubborn man, but Matt is just laugh at you when you ask him any questions like that. So we won't get the name out of Matt. Mikey says, can this be replayed straight after? Yeah, it'll replay all night. And all day, the
Hold
next
on,
day.
John, hold on. Can you read this comment out? Because you won't read this out. Can I read it out? But thanks, John. John saying Grizz talking sense here. Thank you,
I was
John.
just seeing that popped off the
I knew
screen.
you're not going to read that out. I've got to read that out myself.
All right, okay. Well, you continue to do that, and I'll just ignore them. How does that sound? Look, we're going to finish up. We're about 50 minutes in, so the last one I want to go to is the Klopp contract situation. Now, there's been, again, on the Fatback 4 Daily, we've talked about this and what might happen, what might not happen, the varying views from the media and stuff like that. Matt, first up, Klopp contract situation, how do you feel on it?
Yeah, I'm fully confident. He hasn't signed yet. There's nothing been put to him. But both sides are absolutely confident they're happy where they are, and it will be signed at some point in the next 6 months.
Okay, Grizz, I think you're going to disagree with Matt on that. On certain points, walk away.
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of opinion, what he thinks, what I think. I'm not going to disagree with him, but yeah, I know he's verbally agreed. All sides are very confident. I reckon it should be announced before the start of the season. And I've said it for ages. I said the thing is, people laugh.
You know, you have said it for ages. I will say that.
Yeah, I said it's been. I jumped the gun, as you do. You get excited, innit? You jump the gun that it's done. It's not. Nothing's ever done until LFC announce it. But I did say it before the news came out of a new contract. So the new contract, Grizz has said it's done. So I'm telling you, it's done.
Okay, now you have it straight from the horse's mouth on the telly. You have it. But no, look.
And it's probably the most important. People talk about signing. It's probably the most important. We've seen that this guy is a fucking legend. What he's done for us and where he's taken us. In 3 years.
There's no bull crap with him. There's none of this bullshit. He's a legend of the man. So legend of the man.
But this guy will be the most important signing. Everyone panicking over, oh my God, he's got another 3 years, 2 years left only. What are we going to do in 2022? We're going to do fuck all. We're going to carry on this journey with him until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. But at the moment, he's decided that he wants to continue. Yeah,
Kevin Sullivan says, my only worry for Klopp is burnout. There's no more intense job in football. He has a fair point. The worry for me is 2022. That's when the next World Cup is on and will be finished. And it could be low at Germany, might call it a day. And then Klopp will be really, really in for Klopp, I think, the German FA. But look, lads, we spoke about predictions for the season. Now, I'm not going to ask for predictions now, don't worry, don't panic. No. So what I'm going to do is, myself, Matt, Grizz, Ian, a couple more of the trippers. What we're going to do is, I'm going to take all the predictions for the season. It'll be league position, League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, top scorer, player of the year. Them sort
I won last year.
Yeah, you did, Matt, you did. And you got a lovely crystal vase, didn't you? Was it a crystal vase you got?
It was glass, but okay, yeah, crystal.
It was a pint glass. But what we're going to do is, they're the 5 categories. We're all going to do it. Everyone's going to give it to me. I'm going to put them away, not speak of them until the end of the season. If anybody else wants to do this, anybody watching, email lfcdaytrippers@gmail.com and the heading...
Or email...
No, CC GrizzCon@spoofer.ie.
No, we're not emailing Grizz. We're not emailing Grizz. The only entrance will be lfcdaytrippers@gmail.com with the heading predictions. Give me your predictions. I'm going to print them all out and store them away, and we'll have a good look at them at the end of the season. The fantasy football is back. Our good friend Tino is looking after that for us on the LFC Day Trippers. Sign up for that. It's free. Just add it on as your league. The details is on our Twitter. You can get on there. There will be prizes at the end of the season. And if you come second to Grizz, you win the prize because his Grizz can't win it. So that's really good as well. That's a bonus, isn't it? But look, that's been us. That's been the Fatback 4. That's our first week back. We'll be back next week. We hope to beat the 4 of us next week, but if it's not, it'll definitely be 3. It's been great to be back. It's been emotional to be back with the lads, but it's been really good. Matt, thanks a million for joining me. I'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate.
Grizz, same to you. Talk to you next week.
Cheers, mate.
Love you both. Have a good one. Over now.
Bye bye.